guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do a Top 5 Wednesday topic. These are hosted by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes on our Goodreads group. I'll try to put all the information down below. So we're supposed to do our top 5 books featuring a supernatural creature or paranormal creature of your choice. I chose vampires. I have a lot of urban fantasy, paranormal romance, and horror books, and I just found that when I would put the list together of different creatures, the vampires are the ones I thought were the most interesting to talk about. So we're going to talk about my favorite vampire books. So number 5 on my list is Bloodsucking Fiends by Christopher Moore. This is a nice little comedic horror romp. In San Francisco, a woman wakes up as a vampire. She doesn't know what happened, and it's her trying to deal with how to deal with everything and the pitfalls of, having to pay rent and a love interest and, all that kind of stuff, and also being a vampire and not knowing what to do. So I just think this is a great series. This is the first book. There's 2 other books that came out later, You Suck and Bite Me, which are also funny as well, but I love this first book, and it's a great vampire romp. It's funny. And I like those ones, she wakes up and has no idea what happened. It's funny. Number 4 is the Arganos Vampires by Lynsay Sands. This series has like 26 books in it, and it's a paranormal romance series, and it usually deals with a different couple, and it deals with a different couple in every book, but they're all interconnected. Like, it's a huge family friend tree kind of thing, which is how they know, like, one person is connected to another and from one book to another, and it's just they build on each other, and so you get to know all these cast of characters and all their things, and then see them all get to meet and fall in love. And it's great because they're all vampires, so they're all gonna live forever. I don't know, it's just fun. So this is really a light vampire read, but there's so many of them, and they're just, if you want some romance but want to throw in a little danger, not too much. Like, there's always something happening where somebody might be out to hurt somebody or expose somebody as a vampire, and then the other ones are trying to save them or whatever. It's just, but some of them are so funny, just the situations they get into because of the whole vampirism and other things. But these are just very classic. They're just great fun. I would recommend them. Number 3 is Gail Carriger and Solace, or her Parasol Protectorate series. This is a great steampunk urban fantasy series that has several other things other than just vampires, but the vampires in here are fun in a different way of doing them, just in the way that they're groupings in hives. But they also have those who are roves who are not connected to a hive. So one of her best friends is Lord Al-Qadama, and he is a vampire, and she knows it. It's pretty much given in this world, the world building in here, that they're out and everything. So it's a fun series. Again, there's a lot of good action in here for an urban fantasy with some romance thrown in, and it's just fun. Mostly the situational stuff, like you think with Victorian stuff. I don't know. It's just fun. I don't know how to explain that. It's just, maybe that wasn't a great explanation, but I really like this series, and clearly I've reread it a lot because it's all bent up. Anyway, it's one of my favorite books. Anyway, number 2 is Nalini Singh's Guild Hunter series. Angel's Blood is the first book in the series. I just finished book number 10 last month that came out, and I read it like right after I got it. I love this series. This series has to do with, it does have vampires as one of the main supernatural elements, also with angels and archangels. But these vampires have their own issues and things they have to deal with in the hierarchy structure of the world. And again, it's just the world building in here is so great. The like overarching plot that goes from each book to each book that grows, it's really good. Again, it is a paranormal romance overall, but it has so many really good elements. I still think it's so worth it, even if you don't read as many paranormal romances, just because the story itself is really good, and I really enjoy it. So again, one of my favorite series. And then my number one vampire book of all time is Necroscope by Brian Lumley. Now, you can see that this is a great departure from my other books, but this is one of the first vampire novels I read that really, probably I would say, maybe the, one of the most of the horror that I actually read as well that scared me. But I love these books. These were just fantastic, and I still love them to this day. And these vampires are the most powerful and scary ones I've ever come across in all the vampire stuff I've read, just because of the stuff they can do just by talking to you. Anyway, but it's just, they are, the world is so, and again, these books are huge because it has to do with spies, British spies, and they're all psychics, and so they have their talents, and then there's the Russians who have their talents, and then they're fighting against each other, and then there's all this stuff about the Necroscope himself, Harry, who can talk to the dead, and all the implications of stuff that happens when you can talk to the dead. And it's just, as I said, it's a fantastic horror series. And it just happens to have a lot of vampires. And it is one of my favorite ways of, it was so mind-blowing, this book, when I read it. And yes, I probably read it too young at 14. But the point is, it was excellent. And so I guess I've always had a soft spot for certain vampire series, but this one is still my top, just because it was so mind-blowing because of how different it was. And I would recommend this if you like horror and wouldn't mind a commitment to quite a few books, because the main series is only 5 books long, but the rest of them, there's a lot of takeoffs and other series too that are pretty good too, but main ones are good. Are excellent, especially the first book. First book is like my favorite. So those are my top 5 books featuring vampires. So have you guys read any of these books? Are any of these your favorite vampire books? Do you have any other ones that are kind of on the same veins or a little different that maybe not everybody's talking about? I kind of want to hear about them. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.